I happen to agree that actually with Socrates and perhaps Jesus in this line, that actually people have a great amount of truth in themselves, and that, you know, that maybe part of our job is to actually help people get in touch with that. And again, this is invoking that learning journey themselves. I'm intrigued by how Jesus communicates. There were times when he was prophetically, you know, polemical. But actually most of it is like, if he does it much more subversively through parables. And I mean, a parable could be simply, you know, the gospel, the kingdom is like the smallest seed in the garden grows into the biggest tree, the birds come roost in it, and he sits down. I mean, what kind of preaching is that? I mean, it's not a three-point sermon. It's completely befuddling, actually. And as we read about the meaning of parables from Jesus himself, is that it's a form of judgment. But I think what Jesus does, watch his pattern, he's like, he does a miracle, people come, gather around, he gets a crowd, he does, you know, then he starts teaching parables, he culls the crowd, because most of them think, what is he on about? And then they just peel away. And then the few that are left and say, I think I understand what you're saying. He works with them, you see. And I actually wonder whether preaching is maybe trying to hold too many and doesn't do that culling thing and working with those who are actually spiritually interested. I think preaching in the way of Jesus might be a little different. The use of parables, inviting a quest rather than telling answers. Answer telling when people are hungry. In a sense, you're not listening to their genuine quest and you're not engaging with their spiritual kind of journey. We have got probably a reputation for being an answer community. We've got all the answers, we've got it all cut and dried, which actually doesn't lend itself to unhumanity, to the unsearch for truth that I think God requires of us as human beings. And we don't get a kind of a theology book in the Bible. It's not systematics. It's a complicated book written by 66, if I'm correct, different authors. It's a complex book, and so I just wonder really whether we don't know how to invite quest. If I could say anything to preachers, I would, in terms of challenging, I would say that just remember that more of the same will not get fundamentally different results, and that I think that calls us to be innovative and imaginative about both the task and the purpose of preaching, and not simply repeat what we know, and expect fundamentally different results. If the church that we've produced is largely passive and dependent on professionals, and we wonder why people, when we go and visit their homes, have no books and indicate no significant quest in their lives, other than dependence on a three-point sermon, which, by the way, they forget. If not the following week, the week after, is pretty much forgotten. Then I think we really should be rethinking it, and because we spend a fair bit of our time doing this, yes, for every 5 minutes in the pulpit, 1 hour in the study. Well, that's a lot of time, and if it's only producing the kind of results we're doing now, well, repent, change.